Greetings, boys and girls, and welcome to Emperor Jonwayne's Freaky Flix. I am your horror host, the master of the macabre, and the king of cringe, Emperor Jonwayne Frankenstein, the man that brings you the greatest horror, cult, and classic movies of all time, and where you get to watch me review them and enjoy them. Today, we have a very special one for you. One of my favorite supervillains. Probably the first supervillain of all time. That is correct. We are bringing you the return of Fu Manchu. The mystery signs of vengeance warns of the return of Fu Manchu. Featuring Warner Oland in the pivotal role as the great Chinese Emperor Dr. Fu Manchu, the fiendish Fu Manchu. And, well, Fu Manchu is, of course, a supervillain that was extremely popular made in the early 1900s, novels that became several movies. This is the direct sequel to Why Do They Fear the Mysterious Dr. Fu Manchu? The Mysterious Dr. Fu Manchu is a movie we will do after New Year's, when it goes into public domain. Right now, for some odd reason, the return is in public domain, but this one isn't quite yet. But at the end of the year, all the movies that were produced in 1929 go in the public domain, giving us plenty of more movies to react and review to. So in any case, Fu Manchu is more or less the ultimate evil villain. His novels picked him against this British investigator named Nayland Smith, who had a sidekick named Professor Petrie, that were pretty much a blatant inspirational reinvention of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. But in this particular movie, they make Professor Petrie much younger, so I guess it's all well. But the truth is, the Fu Manchu series was never about Nayland Smith. Everyone kind of sort of forgets he even existed. They're all about the evil Dr. Fu Manchu, one of the greatest movie icon villains of all time, who has dozens and dozens and dozens of movies made after him, which we'll discuss a little later. And of course, he is one of the most inspirational characters for a supervillain archetype. That's been repeated and borrowed by a lot of different sources, which again, we'll discuss in one of our breaks. And not only that, the Fu Manchu mustache beard style has the name the Fu Manchu, which is named right after the character, the evil Dr. Fu Manchu. However, a lot of people don't realize that Dr. Fu Manchu is at least his initial motivations is very sympathetic. You see, he was in China during the era which was called the Opium Wars, where the British Empire was trying to poison the Chinese people and get rich by forcing them to accept opium sales, whether they wanted to or not. China tried to ban it because it was rooting their culture and their people. England said, screw that, and invaded China to force them to let them sell opium to their people. Now, Dr. Fu Manchu was a rich Asian who was actually quite unfavorable of the British people and tried to work with them. But his house got blown up in an assault by the British government, killing his wife and son, which drove the poor doctor mad, driving him with an insatiable thirst for revenge. So he put his considerable scientific genius and his master of the mystic occult lore to the single purpose of getting revenge on the British Empire and all those that caused the death of his wife and son. That's the basic backdrop of the great Dr. Fu Manchu. And we will learn and discuss that even more later. But first, one thing I gotta do, before you watch one of these movies, I suggest you put it on pause and get yourself a nice big bowl of popcorn to simulate being in the movie theaters. Some boxes of theater candy. Today we got Milk Duds, one of the all-time greats, and Red Rageous Mike and Ike's, because I love you things that are the color red. It just makes the movie so much more fun. So, I guess we said enough with that. Let's roll it! The return of Dr. Fu Manchu! Yeah. Don't forget your big-ass drinks.
Hello, Herbert. What's going on here? A Chinese wedding?
No, funeral.
Oh, is somebody dead?
Hope so. They're going to bury him.
Oh, blimey, who?
Dr. Fu Manchu. Ain't you ever read about him? Do you feel equal to going in?
No. No, Inspector Smith. It's still so horrible to me.
I'll take Leah for a little drive, and we'll pick you up later.
All right, Dr. Petrie.
Oh, I say, Inspector.
Oh, hello, Camden. You covering this for your paper?
Yes, there are several details I wish to clear up.
Well, I'll be glad to help you if you'll come inside and wait for me while I officially attend the service.
Thanks very much.
Let's sit down here.
Oh, thanks. Can you tell me how many men Fu Manchu actually murdered?
I'm afraid we'll never know. He was too clever in his methods. Look here, Camden. Can't you persuade your paper to soften that part of the story? Before Fu Manchu went insane, he was a magnificent scientist working for mankind. Not only that, during the Boxer Rising, he was the best friend the white man had in China. And when the Chinese rabble attacked the British legation, Eltham, one of the missionaries, sent his little girl to Fu for safety. But some of the Chinese snipers used Fu's garden wall for protection. The white troops were obliged to fire, and Fu Manchu's wife, the little son whom he adored, were killed before his eyes.
Is that when he went insane?
Yes, and in the mistaken belief that his white friends had intentionally fired on his house, he swore to his gods that he'd wipe them out to the third generation, and that he'd use the child, Leah Eltham, in his vengeance. The next 20 years, Fu spent murdering the surviving officers of the Boxer Rising in Russia, Germany, and France. And just before death, Fu sent to each of his victims this blood-stained dragon. The stain represents his wife's blood. For every officer he murdered, he re-gilded a scale that had been covered with blood.
Ah, there's one left.
Yes. He meant to kill young Petrie for that scale. He brought the girl Leah into the plot, entirely innocently upon her part, and used her to lure the boy. At one time, he actually had them both prisoners in Limehouse.
Ah, that was when you made your famous capture, wasn't it?
Brave Death made the capture. He took some oriental poison he'd concocted just as we got him.
Delightful chap. Inspector, why are you here today?
To see the coffin seal, and also to pay my respects to a truly great man.
Just one thing more, Inspector. What's happened to young Petrie and the girl?
They've been through a horrible ordeal, but they're young and very much in love. As a matter of fact, I've got my eye on a wedding present.
Hold on, Chica. As nice a funeral as I could wish for.
Yes, master. Do not look so serious, stupid one. This wax on my face makes it difficult to laugh.
And now, Chang, we have work to do. We must not tolerate interference from anyone. Gods of my ancestors, help me to keep my solemn promise to you. Only one life more. Let the blood of Jack Petrie wipe the stain from the house of Fu.
Do you hear that? The organist is practicing the wedding march in the chapel.
Wasn't it nice of Aunt Agatha and Aunt Helen to have the wedding here? You know, my great-grandfather was married in that chapel.
In a few more hours, we'll be married.
The Lord... Da, da, slowly and solemnly up to the altar like that, and then... Da, 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 da. Back down the aisle in triumph, in the spirit of, I've got my man. Angus. There you are.
Hello.
I don't know how we'll ever be able to thank you and Aunt Helen for all you're doing for us.
My dear, you've already paid us 1,000-fold. Indeed you have. Don't you realize the thrill two maiden ladies feel, having a wedding in their own house? Speak for yourself, my dear. I get no thrill at all out of sentiment. Oh, don't put on your Amazon mood, Agatha. Look where you're going. I can't.
Oh, get along, Philip. Get along. The old spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
What's the matter with you, Sylvester? You're quaking like a jelly.
I can't help it, Lady Agatha. Ever since Fu Manchu came into my life, I've been nothing but a nervous wreck. I've imbibed 8 strong cups of tea since breakfast, but nothing seems to help.
Well, there's nothing to be nervous about now. Fu Manchu's dead, isn't he?
So they tell me. Oh! My soul and body! Wait, don't do it, I beg of you.
What's the matter now?
There's nothing in the world so sure to bring bad luck as the groom kissing the bride before the wedding.
Rubbish. If they didn't kiss before the wedding, there'd never be any wedding. Now, run along, you two, and look over the marriage service in the prayer book. You don't know a word of it, either of you. I'll take care of him.
Oh, but please, don't...
Leave him alone.
Until death us do part.
Oh, we're going to be so happy. What was that?
I was only an aeroplane shadow. Clear.
I feel just the way I used to when Dr. Fu was alive and near.
Is everything prepared as I have ordered? Is the camouflage arranged for our aeroplane? I will have ordered, Master. And the wedding of Dr. Petrie, it takes place today. Yes, today, Honorable One. Good. Although they have not seen fit to send me an invitation, I shall be nevertheless an interested, though invisible guest.
Why, you're lovely. Come and have a look at yourself in the large mirror. Your person is lovely. That gown is beautiful. And you're going to be so happy, I know. Oh, I love weddings, dear. Oh, I love those flowers. Pink flowers.
Say, Lou, I'm going to throw the wedding bouquet straight at you. See that you catch it.
I catch. There must be a storm coming.
Yes. I think we should have some light.
Oh, there's a storm coming.
so much to remember, and exactly as much to forget. Ring, right hand, left hand, pass over, ring, right hand, left hand, pass over, ring, right hand, left hand, pass over, ring, right hand, left hand, pass. Stop! I entreat you, stop!
Stop what?
That whistling. It's bad luck.
All right.
Don't! It's worse luck to sing than to whistle.
Mm-hmm. Say, tell me, Sylvester, is it bad luck to strangle your best man?
I don't think so.
No. Excellent.
Don't leave me alone. I'm so nervous now.
Oh, you're a darling to take that long trip just to give me away.
You're a darling to ask me. You know, I feel as though you belong to me.
Come along, come along. The music's already started in the chapel. Well, take care of her baby. Oh, take care of her train.
Oh,
Your flowers, Miss India.
oh, thank you, baby. Oh, I'm so happy.
Miss India, happy? Leave all St. Louis.
No, you old darling. You're going to live with us always.
Oh, come along, come along. Don't be so sentimental. A wedding's no place for sentiment. Come along, come along.
Wedding's no place for sentiment.
Oh, girls, do be careful of that train.
Okay.
Dear, my dear, what's the matter?
I don't know. I feel just as I used to, and... Oh,
It's the wedding excitement. No wonder the child's upset.
don't worry. I'm all right now.
Now, everybody, be calm, be calm. Now, don't get excited. Watch me, see how calm I am. They're ready. Now, be perfectly calm, Doctor. Remember, I'll be there with you. Now, we go in by the side door. Ready? Ring. Right hand, left hand, pass over, ring, right hand.
I always cry at weddings.
We are gathered together here in the sight of God and in the face of this congregation, joined together this man and this woman in holy matrimony, which is an honorable estate.
Doctor.
Da 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 da.
Fu Manchu. Alive. Oh, I knew it. I felt him near me.
He's dead.
Now, please don't cry anymore, dear. You found anything, Smith?
Not a thing.
Some agent of Fu Manchu is responsible for this.
I think it is Fu Manchu himself.
But I saw Fu Manchu dead. I pronounced him dead.
Yes, and I saw him sealed in his coffin. But I'm convinced now that he lived.
Wasn't there an autopsy performed on the body?
No. Out of respect for his religion.
Stupid.
I deserve any criticism you may care to make, Lady Agatha.
Nonsense. It was on my pronouncement that you passed the body?
Good of you to share the blame, Petrie, but I'm afraid it's not going to help much.
But how can he still be alive?
The poison he took was obviously not poison. The funeral was conducted entirely by Orientals. I don't doubt the embalming was fake. Anything is possible with a man as rich and diabolical as Fu Manchu.
But still, I'm not convinced that he's alive.
I'm sure of it. I felt it.
Why should that being take it out on poor, inoffensive Fei Lu?
You've forgotten that she once betrayed him. When he had Petrie a prisoner in Limehouse, it was Fei Lu who saved Jack's life.
And mine.
So you see, Fei Lu's death served a double purpose.
What do you mean?
Revenge and warning. I found this message in Fei Lu's hand. It's addressed to you, Petrie. Shall I read it?
Please.
Esteemed Dr. Petrie, let this be the first warning that your life is still forfeit to the gods of my ancestors. Lest you still have faith that your misguided friends can shield you, or the brilliant Inspector Smith protect you, I shall send a second warning through my faithful Leah. May you die 1,000 mental deaths in anticipation of the third and last warning, which I shall deliver to you myself. There is still one blood-stained scale to be wiped out. The dragon has begun to coil about you. Fu Manchu.
Smith, we must do something. We must do something at once.
We'll get nowhere, Petrie, by losing our heads.
Sorry.
Inspector Smith, the men have arrived from Scotland Yard.
Good. Oh, Lady Helen, do you mind them coming in?
Certainly not, Inspector. Show them in.
Yes, Billy. Come in, please.
Good evening. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Evening. You all know from my message that Fu Manchu is alive. My men realize the seriousness of that statement only too well. Now I must ask all of you to follow my orders to the letter.
We will do as you say, Inspector.
First thing is to plan our defense. Morley.
Sir.
Kendall.
Sir.
You two men guard the north gate.
Very good, sir.
Abbott.
Sir.
The bridge over the moat.
Very good, sir.
Prescott.
Yes, sir.
You stay on guard in the park.
Yes, sir.
Gordon.
Sir.
Tell the constable to use the stablemen as a patrol around the outer wall.
Very good, sir.
Post all men in the shadows.
Yes, sir.
You two men stay in the house with me.
Yes, sir.
My first request is that you retire to your rooms immediately. Harding?
Yes, sir.
You stay with Dr. Petrie here. Don't leave him for a moment. Lawrence?
Yes, sir.
You're to guard Miss Leah. And now please remember, Fu Manchu was in this house tonight. And his traps may be laid in the most unsuspected places. Keep away from all windows. I don't wish to alarm you unduly, but Fu Manchu may still be in this house.
If I see anything, I'll die. I know I'll die. And if I don't see anything, I'll be scared to death.
I'm not afraid for myself. It's for you.
Come, Leah.
Sylvester, what are you afraid of? I'm afraid of nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. But I shall sit up all night.
Petrie,
Yes, Inspector.
I want to go over the plans of the house again.
Sylvester, dear, that was only Phyllis barking.
Just think. I may be dead tomorrow. And if I'm not here, there won't be anybody left to be sorry for me.
And that's not all. This miserable Fu Manchu.
Yes, my lady.
I tell you, if we women were running Scotland Yard, he'd never have been allowed to behave in this heathenish way.
Yes, my lady. Lady.
You knew what it was?
Listen. Don't be frightened. It's probably some men in the wood.
No, it's not that. It's the call of Siva.
The call of Siva.
Yes, I heard it in the Orient. Dr. Fu told me it was a signal used by a tribe of native thugs.
Put your shoulder to it.
Leah! On Agatha!
Where's the light switch?
Over here.
You don't get here, Petrie. Look out! Don't touch that. It's a dart from a blowgun, and maybe poison. The second note from Fu. Esteemed Dr. Petrie, be at the Standing Stones on the moor at midnight, quite alone. Obviously, this is a trap. Yet with Leah as the precious bait, you will instantly walk into it. To an Oriental, a woman would not be worth the risk. But being a white man, you will not be able to bear the thought of her suffering torture. Your sentimentality will bring you. With sympathy, Fu Manchu. Where are you going?
To the Standing Stones, of course.
Listen, Doctor, I realize you're a Petrie and descended from a long line of brave men, but don't let your courage outrun your common sense.
Smith, I have more respect for you than any man alive. But the thought of Leah in Fu's clutches is driving me mad. I've got to do something.
Wait a bit.
I can't wait. It's already 11 o'clock and he's torturing her. He says so in that note.
Don't you think your death would torture her?
Ah, don't try and reason with me, Smith. There's only one thing I can understand. Fu Manchu has got Leah.
I know it. And because of that, we may get Fu Manchu and save Leah and Lady Agatha. But you've got to follow my orders.
What's your plan?
Tonight at midnight.
Ba-da-dang. Good time for a commercial break. Well, obviously, being the universe's, well, actually the multiverse's greatest anti-villain of all time, I appreciate a good arch-villain. And there's very few arch-villains that have had the influence of Dr. Fu Manchu. They say imitation is a serious form of flattery, and few people have been imitated as much as the good doctor. The most famous of the imitations is, of course, Ming the Merciless from Flash Gordon, who bears a striking resemblance to Dr. Fu Manchu. Without a question of a doubt, obviously inspired by Dr. Fu Manchu. Then in Marvel Comics, there is the Mandarin. They also had another character called the Yellow Claw. However, because of people not being very happy with the racial intolerance of a Chinese man called Yellow Claw that has yellow skin and looks like Dr. Fu Manchu, all images of Yellow Claw have been erased from the internet. So I really can't show you them. But just a picture someone that looks just like the Mandarin, except bald with yellow skin. Marvel did, for a while, have Fu Manchu as a character in their comics as well, when they leased the rights to the character. But, and they made their popular hero, Shang-Chi, the son of Fu Manchu. Although their recent movies, they kind of edited that. They also changed the Mandarin to not really be a Chinese Fu Manchu ripoff. Now, DC Comics, they had the weirdest Fu Manchu ripoff of all time, Ig Fu, who was a giant yellow egg with a prehensile mustache. An alien, oh yes, he spoke with a really bad Chinese accent. He was a master socialist and trying to spread communism to the world. The prehensile mustache. And like, literally, a giant egg. Needless to say, DC Comics isn't exactly proud of their old version of Ig Fu. They've recently reinvented Ig Fu to make him an alien that's more human, that's the size of a human instead of the size. And he no longer has the mustache at all. He no longer is a communist. He no longer is Chinese. And he's now one of Harley Quinn's sidekicks. But originally, he was a very strange yet blatant Dr. Fu Manchu ripoff. Then, of course, everyone remembers Lo Pan, one of the great Fu Manchu ripoffs. Though Lo Pan, they played up his magic and mystical skills much more than his scientific skills, but still a variation of the classic Dr. Fu Manchu. And of course, Doctor Who even had to have their own version of Fu Manchu. Lehsen Chang from the Talons of Wang Chiang, who was a Chinese magician that had a ventriloquist dummy that was secretly a cyborg assassin. Considered by many to be one of the great classics and one of the best episodes of Doctor Who. While, a lot of people have also asked for this one to be removed because they didn't appreciate the fact that Chang was played by a white British man and not an actual Asian. Well, in any case, those are some of the great and just a small example of the influence of Dr. Fu Manchu in the world of arch-villainy. And let's face it, even Marvel Comics' most famous villain, Doctor Doom, owns somewhat of his repertoire to the image of Fu Manchu. He may not look like him, but he still combines magic and science and technology, and also still has an empire of loyal people. Granted, his people are from Latveria, whereas Fu Manchu is the emperor of the Sci-Fan organization, a group of Tongs that use mysticism and assassination to help their celestial emperor try to conquer the world. But with that, let us get back to the film. Let us roll it! We'll get back to that for you.
We've got the place surrounded, sir. As close as we dare get without being observed. Very good. Remember to keep your men hidden until the attack. Fu Manchu said that Petrie must come alone. Very good, sir. How about lights? We've got 40 motor cars. When I fire 2 shots, they've orders to turn their headlights on and flood the whole place with lights. Then we close in. Here he comes now. Everything ready, Smith? Everything's ready. Better use your car, Petrie. They're expecting you at 12 sharp. It's now 11:40. Every man to his post, Harding. Very good, sir.
Master, the gates are shut.
Well, put this in the black onyx bottle. Are you certain that no one suspects us in this place?
Quite certain, Honorable One.
It is well. This old dye works is excellent for our purposes, and you have prepared it very cleverly in accordance with my orders. My good nature shall reward you.
Where is he? That miserable Fu Manchu? I demand that I see him, and at once.
Since she has come to herself, it is impossible to keep her quiet.
Permit her to come in.
Go ahead.
You have something to tell me, Lady Agatha?
I have a great deal to tell you. What do you mean by carrying on in this fashion? Frightening women half out of their wits and making a game of murder. What do you mean? Where's Leah?
Not having your superb constitution, she has not yet recovered.
If you dare so much as to lay a hand on that girl, I demand that you release us at once.
I can well understand you being terrified to find yourself in my hands. Helpless. But being an Englishwoman, you are too proud to show your fear.
And if you know what's good for you, Dr. Fu, you give up this melodramatic nonsense and get back to China.
Huh? You will pardon me? I quite agree with you. I shall look forward to continuing our discussion some other time. Just now, I have matters of greater importance. Escort her ladyship to her cell and see that she has every comfort. Leah. Leah. Ah, little lotus blossom, you are awake.
Oh, it is you.
I regret that it was necessary to interrupt your wedding, my dear. But perhaps it is fortunate the ceremony was not completed. It is better to be a sorrowing sweetheart than an inconsolable widow.
Oh, if it's my life you want, take it, but please, please don't harm Jack.
Your life means nothing to me, but the life of your sweetheart I have pledged to my gods. Your Dr. Petrie shall die, just as my wife and little son died, at the hands of those white devils, your countrymen.
Oh, you fiend. You won't get him, I tell you. You won't get him. They'll put a guard around him. They'll protect him from you.
That is where you are wrong, my child. He will gladly deliver himself to me.
What do you mean?
If he were threatened with torture, would you not come to him? I see that you understand me.
Master, the aeroplane has come.
Good.
They have brought him.
Ah, I was right in my prophecy. Your sweetheart is in my hands.
Jack! Jack!
You are a welcome messenger, Arling. You shall be rewarded.
Thanks.
Grateful. Remove the bandage that I may feast upon my hate.
Good evening, Doctor.
Fool! Imbecile! You have brought the wrong man. Hold this miserable one to my call. I didn't know.
You shall still be rewarded, my faithful servant. I am sorry, Inspector, but the servant problem is a difficult one.
I'd ask mercy for that poor devil if I thought you knew the meaning of the word.
It always gives me pleasure to prove you wrong, Inspector. I shall not have him killed.
Thank you.
Sit down. So, we two meet again.
It was inevitable, Doctor, since the reports of your death were so greatly exaggerated.
Did my resurrection puzzle you?
Exceedingly. You see, I attended your funeral.
I was deeply touched. I promise you that I will return the compliment.
Thank you.
You will be amused at my death trick. The poison I drank was, as you see, not fatal.
A discovery of your own, Doctor?
Yes, at least the present ingredient. The theory is old. Your Shakespeare used it in Romeo and Juliet. I have used it several times on my enemies, with perfect success. As you will readily see, the beauty of it is that apparently they die. Then they awake after 3 days to find themselves in a coffin, buried alive. Then they really die. The thought of inflicting 2 deaths on a victim delights my peculiar sense of humor.
Yes, it would.
In my own case, I have you to thank for observing the religious customs of my race. If an autopsy had been performed, I would have become my own victim.
That would have delighted my sense of humor, Doctor.
A cigarette?
No, thank you.
Smoking will kill you. Especially...
I prefer one of my own
Twice
cigars,
laced
but in
tobacco
searching me,
bunches.
your men took my cigar case.
Ah, I shall have it brought at once. Mr. Smith's cigar case. I'm afraid for once your plans have miscarried. If I'm not mistaken, you took Dr. Petrie's place, believing you could better handle any situation that might arise. And of course, you arranged that your men would follow and rescue you.
Precisely. But the one thing I didn't foresee and prepare for was an aeroplane.
Did it not occur to you that even if your men did follow, they might be a trifle late and find you dead?
The thought did occur to me, Doctor, I admit. But if it ended in your capture, I considered it quite worthwhile. You see, I could scarcely ask anyone else to take the risk.
I honor you for your spirit of sacrifice. But it would be impossible for your men to find you here. The goddess of fortune has put you into my hands, and you shall not slip through them. Smith, you have been a powerful opponent, and without flattery, I admit that your removal will be a great relief to me.
It's unusual for a death sentence to be so complimentary.
I am not going to kill you.
That's a pleasant surprise.
Your mind is my enemy. I shall merely kill your mind.
What do you mean?
The black onyx bottle, and have Arling brought in. I will show you. I have promised the Honorable Inspector to spare your life.
Can I have you?
But wait! I must still punish the brain that failed me tonight. The potion paralyzes the brain immediately and very soon he will be completely demented. And that, Inspector, is what I am going to do to you.
This strain is killing me. I think it might relieve my mind if I had a good cry, don't you?
Perhaps.
Yes.
There, Sylvester. Jack, any news?
No.
The draft is ready. But don't think me too inhuman, my friend. I never prepare a poison without compounding an antidote, the ingredients of which are known only to myself. I shall restore your mind after my work is completed. Of course, if I should happen to be killed by your blundering assistants, I should hate to think of your future.
Horrible. But quite worthwhile if I could be sure of your death.
Flattery, Inspector. Flattery. Is there any last request before we begin our little experiment? Perhaps you should like to write some record for your memoirs.
No. But I haven't eaten since before the wedding.
It takes time to eat. And during that time, you think you might work out a solution to save yourself from this. I advise you not to put it off. You still are hungry? Very well. I do not wish to appear a poor host, so I shall dine with you myself. And this shall be served as your liqueur. You will pardon me a moment. I must give my personal attention to the ordering of so important a meal. I might add, escape is impossible. Every exit is guarded.
Are you all right?
Yes. Where's Jack?
Quite safe at home.
Aeroplane.
Searching for us.
Plane is safe.
Not yet. They're watching for my signal.
What's that?
My cigar case, but also a gun for signal lights. Come. Watch that door.
You think they saw it?
We can only hope so, my dear. You better go back.
What's Fu Manchu going to do to you?
Nothing if you'll help me. Now listen to me, Leah.
I think it is only the AMA. But if we should be attacked, use these hand grenades. They are powerful enough to blow to bits a score of men.
Doors unbolted. Watch for my signal.
Unfortunately, most of these dishes were prepared for me and are Chinese. I hope your palate will not be outraged. Sit down.
Now, who doesn't like good Chinese food? I know I sure do. Well, all the actors are in play and ready for the final showdown between Scotland Yard and Nayland Smith and Dr. Fu Manchu and his sinister sci-fan organization. Now, let us talk about some of the most famous actors who played Dr. Fu Manchu, and there are quite a few of them. Obviously, this one has Warner Oland playing the fiendish Dr. Fu Manchu, and he played him in the first talkie version of this movie. There was a serial before that, and a couple movies before the serial. One thing that's interesting about our good friend Warner is, well, first of all, he was a Swedish actor, but he's most famous for playing two of the most famous movie icons that are supposed to be Chinese. First of all, of course, Dr. Fu Manchu, but more famously, he was Charlie Chan. Then, of course, Boris Karlof. Boris Karlof played the fiendish Dr. Fu Manchu in The Masks of Fu Manchu, and he was delightful in the role. He totally embellished playing a crazy, evil, megalomaniacal, mad scientist occult master, and did so with perfection. Creepy, scary, over the top, and totally Boris Karlof having the time of his life. Yeah, unfortunately, he only portrayed the good doctor once, but did so with devilish delight. Then, of course, one of the most famous actors to play Fu Manchu, the one most known for it, is none other than Christopher Lee. Now, Christopher Lee is known for playing two monsters excessively. Now, he played other ones. He played a Frankenstein monster. He played a mummy. Yeah, he played everything, really, at one point or another. But he played Count Dracula quite a bit for Hammer, and Dr. Fu Manchu for Hammer. Now, his Count Dracula is known for being animalistic and passionate, which was interesting because his version of Dr. Fu Manchu was emotionless and mechanical. Someone that was completely intellectual and didn't express himself emotionally whatsoever or have any strong reaction, instead taking things in intellectually with deadly precision. Then, of course, Peter Sellers in the fiendish plot of Dr. Fu Manchu, which was somewhat of a comical version of it, but still true to the character, and where he did a stellar performance of playing Dr. Fu Manchu, who also took on several different identities to try to torture his arch nemesis, Nayland Smith, as Nayland Smith and him were at a race to try to get the ingredients for Dr. Fu Manchu to create the elixir of life, something that he uses to keep himself immortal and eternally young. And, of course, Nicolas Cage got to play him once as well. And David Carradine apparently did it once as well. Or no, not David. John Carradine once did him well for a pilot TV series that never went off. But those are just a small sampling of some of the great famous actors who played the fiendish Dr. Fu Manchu. Unfortunately, it's been a long time since they made any new Fu Manchu movies. Apparently, in today's time, they consider the character to be a racial stereotype and therefore don't use him because of how racist it is. I find that to be unfortunate because Fu Manchu is a great and fun villain. And he actually is a villain that, much like Magneto, was created by humanity's cruelty and ignorance. I mean, how is it racist to have a powerful, rich Chinese emperor trying to seek revenge on those that invaded his country, forced them to take opium to destroy their culture for the sake of greed, and then inadvertently destroyed his house and killed his wife and son? I mean, yes, Fu Manchu was evil. Eventually he decided to try to conquer the world after he gave up on just getting revenge on Professor Petrie. But he had justification for his initial insanity based upon the evil actions of an indifferent, vile society. And of course, he was extremely intelligent. And you know, you gotta love how most of this movie is basically just a game of chess between him and Nayland Smith. I don't know. I personally would not feel offended if people were trying to make people of my culture seem super intelligent and devious and masterful at the art of revenge. But what do I know? I am just an intergalactic anti-villain taking human form to help share my passion of storytelling with you by sharing ancient movies that are no longer widely viewed. And speaking of that, it is time for us to see how this great movie ends. So we will roll it!
This is bird's nest soup.
The condemned man ate a hearty dinner.
Are you sure the signal came from the old Wilson Dye Works?
Yes, sir, I made certain.
Good, let's go. Right, you take the upper road. We'll pick up some more men.
Are you eating slowly to delay your fate? Or is it that you do not enjoy your egg?
They are a bit gamey.
We consider 3 years the proper age for eggs.
Only 3 years?
Perhaps some condiments would disguise the oriental flavor.
No, really. I prefer the original. 50 million Chinese can't be wrong.
A brave man to the last. And this, Inspector, is shark's fin. And with this course we serve our liqueur. Let's drink, Inspector, to your courage, and also to that brilliant brain of yours, which I regret to add, will presently cease to function.
Keep still. One sound, and I'll plunge this knife in your throat. Listen to me, Doctor. Give me your word that Lady Agatha, Leah, and myself are given immediate freedom, or I'll kill you instantly. Don't cry out.
Smith, I am disappointed in you. You must know that I would be prepared for some such emergency. If I'm found dead, my servant has orders to put to death not only you, but Lady Agatha and Leah as well.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Smith. You do what you think is best.
You have courage, Leah, but unfortunately, the inspector is a sentimentalist, and Englishmen cannot bear the thought of women being tortured.
You may be willing to suffer death to defeat me, but not incurable insanity. Unless you give me your word to release us, one twist of this, and I'll force this drink down your throat and destroy the brain, which alone knows the antidote.
Had I been in your position, my first move would have been to empty that cup. 9 chances to 10 you have already done so, but...
Prepare to take the chance then, Doctor. I've no time to argue.
You win. You win. I give my word.
Your word of honor?
My word of honor. I promise to return you and the 2 women unharmed to Greenwood Towers. But in exchange, I must be guaranteed safety for myself and my servants.
I'll give you 6 hours.
5 will be quite sufficient.
Very well. It's a bargain.
I have a tingling curiosity to know if you have been threatening me with an empty cup. Will you satisfy it? I should have been disappointed otherwise.
The guys are gone! Hey, come out! Wait! Hurry on, men! Hurry on here! Come on, boys! Give me your hand! Come on, break down the door!
It is your men, Inspector. Since their arrival makes it impossible for you to keep your part of the bargain, certainly I am released from mine.
Where you beast! Mr. Bill!
Kill that man! Honey, through that door! Where's Leah? Who's got her out there? I am but slightly wounded, Inspector. It is not the end of the story, only the end of another chapter. Oh, Smith, I can't stand this any longer. Why don't you let me get out and do something?
I know what you're going through. But you can see for yourself that everything possible is being done. All the police and the British Isles are on the lookout. Every port is being watched. Harding has 50 picked men scouring the city. And if anyone can find him, Harding can.
Yes, sir.
You got that Chinaman Chang to talk yet?
Not yet, sir.
Keep trying.
Right, sir.
Hello, Harding? Oh, that you, Harris? What? You've lost Harding. Where? By the river? How long ago? Put every man you've got into finding him. Yes, at once.
Repeat
After me, Inspector Smith.
Inspector Smith.
Harding talking.
Harding talking.
We've got him.
We've got him.
I'm coming for you immediately in the car.
I'm coming for you immediately in the car.
We'll need Dr. Petrie.
We'll need Dr. Petrie.
Now speak in an excited tone.
Inspector Smith. Harding talking. We've got him. I'm coming for you immediately in the car. We'll need Dr. Petrie.
Harding is on the phone, sir. Harding? Yes, Harding.
Inspector Smith. Harding talking. We've got him. I'm coming for you immediately in the car. We'll need Dr. Petrie.
What about Leah? He's so excited he rang off.
Well, what did he say? What's up?
Get your hat, Petrie. Harding has got food. We'll wait for him below.
Yes, I know, but Smith. Yes, look here.
Hello, Harding. Inspector Smith. Yes?
Harding, we've left Smith behind. Oh, driver. Driver. Harding, what are we doing in this car? Harding, Harding.
It will please you to know, Dr. Petrie, that your health is perfect. You recover quickly.
Where's Leah?
Leah is here and safe.
Now that you've got me, you let her go.
Those details can be discussed later. I have a present and very urgent need for your professional services, Doctor.
What do you mean?
You see, your friend's bullet reached its mark. It is embedded here, near the base of my skull. Partial paralysis has already set in because the bullet impinges on a nerve. Any physician I might call in would be professionally bound to turn me over to the police. The price I pay for being such a sought-after celebrity.
What has this to do with me?
You, Dr. Petrie, I know to be one of the most skillful young surgeons in London. This operation is delicate, but not necessarily dangerous. In fact, it can be done under a local anesthetic. I intend that you shall operate and remove the bullet.
Very well. I'll operate.
I can read the thoughts in your mind, my young friend. In such a delicate spot, the knife will slip a little, and your enemy is gone. Is it not so?
I'll do the best I can. I can't do any more than that.
You can and you will do more than that. Tonight you will be the most skillful surgeon in London, and the operation will be eminently successful, or Leah will remain in her present condition forever.
What have you done to Leah?
Bring Miss Leah in.
Leah.
brandy juice.
Leah, do not frighten her. Merely observe her. I have taken her mind, Doctor, and only I can restore it. But you shall have it back for the successful operation. Now your hand will not slip, will it, Dr. Petrie? Oh, Leah. Ready?
Yes. I have no instruments.
I think I have all that is required. I do considerable dissecting
Now, Petrie,
myself.
we should have made him agree to let you go
Let us
and
go.
small off murdering you after you're successful. Because Fu Manchu does keep his word.
Johnson,
Being lawfully
bring
able
Chang in
to
this room. Watch him
and
carefully.
my boss at where I work.
Baker, come with me.
Very good, sir.
Johnson, I want you a moment.
That's what she said.
Is Chang still unwilling to make a statement?
Yes, sir.
Well, watch him carefully. Under no circumstances must he be allowed to escape.
Right.
Oops.
Inspector, he has escaped. It's all right, Johnson. I planned it. He escaped through that window and is now being followed. I'm hoping he's dazed enough from his wound to lead us to Fu Manchu.
The temptation to kill me must be very great, Doctor, since you must realize that our bargain concerning Leah does not alter my promise to my gods. My first act, when I am recovered, after curing Leah, of course, will be to take your life. But remembering Leah, you will control yourself. I feel perfectly safe in your hands.
Take Chang to a warehouse on the river. I'm positive it's Fool's hiding place. I'll show you the way, sir.
All right, come with me. Jackson, you follow me.
Yes, sir.
I've finished.
You operated just in time.
Now put your shoulders. Go. Right.
Orderly!
Quick. Don't shoot.
Don't.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, Inspector.
Don't hurt him.
See how solicitous the doctor is of his patient.
What do you mean?
I've just operated on it, and nothing must happen to it.
If your men will release me, in the next room I will show you why the doctor is so concerned.
Get Leah.
Yes, Leah.
Smith, do anything that he asks.
Release him.
Your men must stay here quietly. Excitement might put Leah
beyond my power to restore her mind. Before I cure Leah, I must ask another favor. This time from Inspector Smith.
What is it?
I must walk out of that door a free man, Smith. And I must be allowed to leave England unharmed.
I'll not agree to that.
Oh, Smith, think of what you're saying. For Leah's sake, for my sake. I'd do anything he asks.
A nice problem, Inspector. And the villain holding all the cards. I can see that you are wavering already. You can't refuse your friend's request. You can't leave the poor girl in this condition. England would never forgive you.
You promised never to return to England?
Gladly. I prefer the sun of the Orient to your climate.
Very well. Then I agree.
Come, Leah. Sit in this chair.
Drink deeply. Drink deeply.
There. Watch her, Doctor. She will recover in a moment. And now, Inspector, since you are also a man of your word, are you ready to give me safe conduct to the boat?
I'll escort you myself. Remember, you promised never to return.
I hold promises very sacred, my friend. Yes, dear. For example, I promised Dr. Petrie to return Leah's sanity. That I have done. There remains but one promise unfulfilled. To avenge the death of my wife and child. I have promised the gods of my ancestors Dr. Petrie's life.
No.
Stand still! If one of you moves or cries out, I will pull this contact pin, and we shall all be blown to death. I shall welcome death, for Dr. Petrie will die with me. Then my life's work will be finished. But Dr. Petrie can save you all by taking his own life.
No! No! No!
To show you that I am not entirely devoid of feeling, I have arranged a quick and painless death. In the white bottle on the top shelf is a potion which will immediately blot out your existence. You are brave and will not hesitate to sacrifice your life for those you love. I shall not wait. Drink. In 10 seconds it will explode. If you will drink the poison, I will throw this bomb into the river. If not, see! I have pulled the pin! I'll take you!
It's all over, Petrie. There are no more chapters. The book is closed.
Is everything all right? I knew it would all come out all right. I never worried for a moment.
Oh, Sylvester. What the heck were you even doing there besides providing last-minute comic relief? Well, that was the return of Fu Manchu. And there's plenty of more Fu Manchu to go around. We could probably start watching The Drums of Fu Manchu, the original serial, and perhaps The Adventures of Dr. Fu Manchu, the TV series that's also in the public domain. But in any case, that's enough for today. Join us next time when we will have another great classic cult movie for your viewing entertainment. Thank you for watching The Return of Fu Manchu with me, one of my favorite archvillains of all time. We'll just have to see what we can bring you next time. So, until then, remember to enjoy the daylight, because at night we will be there waiting for you, haunting your nightmares.